All right, so every month, this is a series that I run called Digital Tools for Teaching. For the last few months, it's specifically been tools for teaching ELL. And so this month, I want to feature a tool called the Staying Healthy Health Literacy Collections. And I have you here for an hour, but I don't think we'll need to take the whole hour. I just want to make sure that at the end, if you have questions about exactly how to use the digital tool and the mechanics behind it, I can help you with that. But so here's my agenda. I just want to answer for you, what is this tool? What are some of the features? Some of the features are built with another tool called Jamboard. So I'd like to do a demonstration of that and have you participate with me. And then I want to give you a little time to explore it so that we can answer the questions, how does it work? How might you use it with your learners? And what questions do you have? Because we are a small group, please feel free to unmute at any time if you have a comment or a question, and or use the chat. Okay, so the Staying Healthy Collections starts with a curriculum that Florida Literacy Coalition built called Staying Healthy. And then this group called Crowd Ed Learning assembles adult educators, and they do what's called an Ed Tech Makerspace project. So the Makerspace, that's a mouthful. The Makerspace project for the winter of 2022 was to assemble adult educators, have them look at this Staying Healthy curriculum from the Florida Literacy Coalition, and then see if they could build supplementary activities that are all digital and all free for other adult educators to use. So when I show you this resource, you're going to see that it's organized first by level. So there are two levels of the Staying Healthy curriculum. There's Staying Healthy for Beginners, which they recommend is probably for a high beginning ELL learner or English language learner. And then the Staying Healthy. So that's sort of the original curriculum, which is more for intermediate learners. After it's organized by level, it's organized by chapter in each of those curricula. And then this Makerspace project, for each of those chapters, adult educators added Jamboard activities, Quizlet activities. You may be familiar with Quizlet. It's like a vocab flashcard site. They went around and collected other vocabulary and listening activities that were out there and available, and additional leveled reading text for reading practice, and they put them all in this one spot for you. So I will quickly show you what that looks like and then share the link with you so that you can get here as well. So this is the Staying Healthy Literacy Collections. It's all in one spot. It's built with a tool called Wakelet. And as you can see, first, I have it organized by level. So Staying Healthy for Beginners, if I click on Staying Healthy, it drops me down to the more advanced curriculum here. And then also organized by chapter. So I'm just going to take a peek with you all at the Chapter 4 Healthy Food from Staying Healthy for Beginners. And when I get to the chapter sites, you can see first, it's going to give me teacher resources. So the curriculum resources from Staying Healthy by Florida Literacy Coalition. I have access to the student resource book, teacher guide, pre-assessment, and post-assessment. And then my students also have access to the student resource book here. So I can click on that. And it opens a PDF version of Chapter 4 for me. If I go back to the Staying Healthy Collections site, this is where those adult educators in the Makerspace have added extra activities. So we have a core activities section. Excuse me if that's too small for you to see. Core activities section. So you can see there's quite a few Jamboard activities. There's a Quizlet study set and another Jamboard activity here. As a tutor or an instructor, you have two options for these activities. You can just view it which means really that you can't interact with it because the point of Jamboard is it's a digital whiteboard and you can be in it together with a student and you can interact. But if you just wanted to preview it, I would recommend you click on the view activity. When you want to make it your own and use it with a student, that's what the copy activity link is for. Then there's a language learning resources section. And again, those adult educators in the makerspace went out. It looks here like they went to the site called Learning Chocolate, and they just gathered for us all of these extra vocabulary activities online that might be pertinent to this chapter's topic, which is healthy food. And then there's also in each chapter a section with additional readings. These were sourced from the Marshall Leveled Reading Program. So the Makerspace teachers went out and collected different texts that you might want to use to supplement if you're studying about healthy food. And then this chapter even has more additional activities that were built with Jamboard. And so it's a little bit different per chapter, what kind of activities and how many activities are available. But that, in a nutshell, is the Staying Healthy Collections resource. Any questions or comments so far? All right, so because so many of the supplemental activities were built with Jamboard, I just wanted to take some time to do a Jamboard demo with you all and have you join me in that Jamboard so that you can see how to play with that tool. Before you join me, I'll just give you a demo. One of the recurring Jamboard activities for every chapter is this routine called a See, Think, Wonder. Does anybody use this routine with students? I'm seeing a nod and a head shake. So a yes and a no. So my understanding, and tell me if you do it differently, but my understanding is you show a student a picture, some sort of visual prompt, and it's just a way to build some language before you pre-read, before you listen to a text, anything like that, to build the language and then access that prior knowledge. So the see would just be, what do you see? And that could be a spoken activity. It could be a written activity. Here it was written on the Jamboard. So for example, somebody might add a Post-it note. I see a Twix bar. I see chocolate. And then the next step is, what does it make you think about this picture? I'm hungry, but I shouldn't fill up on junk food. Reminds me of Halloween. And then the next step in this routine is, what does it make you wonder? So we are asking students to formulate a question. An example here would be, what does the Duplo bar taste like? There's the Duplo bar there. And are these candy bars from all over the world? So I'm going to ask you to help me out and just try this See, Think, Wonder. To do that, I clicked on the blue share button, and I want to make sure that anyone with the link can be an editor. That's how I would share it with students. And an editor means they're going to be able to move objects around and draw and add things. So I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to share it with you all in the chat. And if you're feeling okay about it, go ahead and click on that link, and you should be able then to jump into my Jamboard with me. Okay, so then I would invite you to look at this picture. On the left, you have a toolbar. And for me, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 tools down from the top. I see a little sticky note. So if you click on that sticky note, it should open one for you. And then you can type. You can type anything that you see. You can do another one for what you think and something that you wonder about this picture. The one thing you may be noticing about Jamboard is that when people put a second a sticky note on, it goes directly on top of the first one. So they are draggable. You can manipulate them. Great. How about a think or a wonder? What does this picture make you think or wonder? Perfect. I think I need to eat more fresh fruit. I would like a donut. Wonderful. Thank you. And another nice thing about Jamboards is that they have multiple frames. So if you look up at the top right now, it says I'm on frame 2 out of 6, and you've got arrows forwards and backwards. I invite everybody now to click on the next frame arrow, so the one pointing to the right, and it should bring you then to a picture of a plate with the 4 food groups. And here we can just practice using another feature of Jamboard. So the directions at the top say, add a note, text, or image of the foods you ate today. Drag each to the correct food group. So we can continue using the sticky notes, but there are 2 other tools that you could also use on this Jamboard frame. The one with, it kind of looks like mountains to me, is how you would add an image. So if you click on add an image, across the top, you get some options of where you can find the image. I think it's just easiest to click on Google Images and do a search. So for example, this morning I had peanut butter toast. So click on that and hit insert. Picture's coming at you. It showed up on my Jamboard. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller by dragging on the little dot in the corner, and then I can move it to, let's see, where would I put it? Oops. Excuse me, coleslaw. I'm going to move it for just a minute. I'm going to put it in between the grains and the protein. The other feature that the directions suggest you can use is to type. So to add a note or text. The box with the T in the middle is how you would add a text box. So if you click on that, you open it up by just clicking on the page, and then you can start to type. Let's see, coffee is what I had. I don't even know if that has a food group. I will say I had coffee with creamer, so I can put it in the dairy section. And then those text boxes are draggable as well. Ooh, look at that nice yogurt parfait. Somebody had chicken, pepperoni pizza. Ooh, we got oatmeal too, and blueberries. Wonderful. Getting the hang of adding images and text boxes. All right, I invite you to advance one more frame so that you're on the 4 out of 6. And this is just another tool that you can use on Jamboard. Again, this activity was built by the adult educators in the makerspace for this chapter 4. So this is an example of a vocabulary activity. This one asks you to use the pen tool. So for me, the pen is on the top. I can select the pen, I can select the thickness of my pen, and I can select a color. Once you've got it, go ahead and draw a line between the word and the definition. Yeah, so I think the tricky part about nutrient and vitamins is that both of those words are in the definitions that we're seeing here. So I think that nutrient, the definition of nutrient is this one here. So it's in foods and needed by people to stay healthy, and vitamins are a kind of nutrient. And then the vitamins one is a kind of nutrient in foods that helps fight sickness and keeps the body strong, healthy. All right, we're going to save frame 5 for just a couple minutes from now. So I'm going to invite you to come back to Zoom and have your Zoom up full screen. If you're not really sure how to do that from the Jamboard, I'm going to prompt you to look at the bottom of your screen and see if you can find the Zoom icon. When you click on that, it should open Zoom back up for you. Let me know if you have any trouble. Any comments or questions about those Jamboard activities right now? Okay, so, oh, let me see the chat. Fun, great. I'm glad you think so. I have one note on Jamboard. Unfortunately, Google is getting rid of it in December, which is frustrating to say the least. So is it worth it to start using these resources? And my answer is yes. Even though we have, less than 12 months now to use these resources, the skills that you and students learn when using Jamboard will transfer to whatever alternatives come next. Google has said that Jamboard, once it cancels it in December, it will be able to integrate with these 3 products, which are all other versions of digital whiteboards. So there's something called Miro, something called Lucid Spark, and then Fig Jam. All of these are varying degrees of free. Miro and Lucid Spark, I believe I saw most recently that you can have 3 active whiteboards in the free version. Fig Jam is completely free, but you have to sign up for an educator account. I reached out to the people at Crowd Ed Learning who led the makerspace and had, they built all of these additional activities with Jamboard. And I said, any plans to revamp this resource with a different tool? And he said, first, they're going to have a petition. It's a long shot, but they're going to send a petition to Google asking Google not to cancel Jamboard. But after that, he said, yes, at the very least, they would take the Jamboard activities and transfer them to another Google product, maybe like Slides or something like that. So I just want to caution everybody that, yes, I'm aware Jamboard is going away, but I still think this is a useful resource. Okay, so I showed you just a real brief glance at chapter 4 of the Staying Healthy for Beginners collection and some of the Jamboard activities that come with that. But I want to give you more time to explore the rest of the Staying Healthy collections, see and really keep in mind, like, how's it going to work for you? How's it going to work for your students? And I'd like for us then to report your findings on frame 5 of the Jamboard. So on frame 5, we have another See, Think, Wonder, but this is for you all to tell me, what are you seeing in this resource? What does it make you think about? And what questions do you have? In the C column, I'm seeing a lot of you acknowledge how valuable some of these resources can be, and that they're great for different learning styles, and that it can be very relevant too. Just the act of integrating health literacy into your instruction is very relevant for our adult learners. In the Think column, lessons are practical. The green post-it, I'm glad you think so. I think this could be great for low-level learners because of all of the pictures. My first thought when I looked at the Staying Healthy curriculum, even for beginners, I wondered if it was not as accessible for low-level learners just because there is so much language in it. But I'm glad that you think that the pictures are going to help make that more accessible. Yeah, great idea. This is not meant to be like use all of it from top to bottom, right? You can pick and choose different activities that's going to work for different needs of your learners. In the wonder column, I wonder if the Jamboard would also be useful for tutors and learners meeting in person versus virtually. I think it would be. And I know we don't have a lot of our member agencies who are tutoring virtually. I know it happens, but I think digital tools are just as engaging if you're tutoring in person. It just requires you both to, well, at least for there to be one device, right? Either a phone or a computer. But I do think that Jamboard and all of these types of activities still bring in that multisensory aspect to your teaching. So you're going to hear if there's an audio component, you're going to be able to click and drag so you have that tactile component as well. And then, yes, I want to acknowledge this one too in the think column. I think I would need to play around with this resource to find their use in the program we're currently following. So it is going to require a little playing around, and just the idea of integrating health literacy into any instruction that you're already providing, that requires a lot of thought too. Are there any questions that you have that didn't end up on this board that I could answer or try to answer right now? If there are no questions, I'll just do a plug for next month's Digital Tools for Teaching. On Leap Day, February 29th, I will meet again. I'll be right here on Zoom to present another Makerspace project. This one is with the ESL Story Bank that was created by Literacy Minnesota. And then the Makerspace project got together and created activities around those texts. So you can register for that by going to our training page at Wisconsin Literacy's website. Immediately after this call today, I'm going to follow up with an email to you all, and in that email will be a handout on today's resource. So you'll have links to the resource and to some Jamboard tutorials, and then I will give you a link to register for this one in case you're interested. But if there aren't any questions, I just want to thank you all for coming and spending a little bit of your afternoon with me. Have a great rest of your day.